How do you go from zero to $10,000 a month in 90 days? It might sound too good to be true, but it is actually possible. And I'm going to tell you the truth. You're not going to want to hear this and you won't like the answer. Let's get into the video. The thing about this is that it's not about the amount of time that elapses. This is the dichotomy people fall into, is they think, I want to get to 10 grand a month by June, or I want to get for 10 grand a month in 12 months, whatever it is. It's not about time elapsed, because the truth is that the human beings, time is an arbitrary concept. It doesn't really exist. So what we want to do, instead of looking at time, we look at action. Now, there is an element to this where the universe and the 10 grand a month thing works on what we're going to call cause and effect. So which means that we have to cause to effect. 10 grand a month is an effect. What that means is we have to create causes that create that effect. And unfortunately, it does take time for a cause to create an effect. But 10 grand a month is not that big of an ask from the universe. I know it seems mad to you at the moment that 10 grand a month is not a lot of money, but trust me, you'll look out your window and you'll probably see a couple of million in property. You'll see a couple of million in salary probably. So just bear with me as I explain it. So it's not about time. 90 days is irrelevant. It's about action. And what this means is you've got 90 days to do this, right? So what you have to do is basically squeeze as much action into these 90 days. It's not about the time frame. The time frame is irrelevant to you getting your goal. It's about the action, because time isn't the cause. If time was the cause, everyone would be rich at 80, but they're not. So what you need to do is squeeze action. So objectively, right, it might take the average person a year or 18 months to hit 10K a month, right? And I'm going to tell you how you can do it in a much shorter period of time. So it might take the average person a year. So what you need to do is you need to figure out what these people are doing over the course of 18 months and then squeeze that into 90 days. Because let's use the example of a year, for example, because it's a lot cleaner mathematically. And well, we all know that my maths is not incredible, right? So we know that 90 days is basically a quarter of a year. So what that means is that if you want to achieve what most people achieve in a year in 90 days, you need to do quadruple the action they do in a year in the next 90 days. So let's say that this person, and this is very measurable, and I'm going to explain exactly what it looks like. Let's say that the average person to get to 10 grand a month does 100 units of action every day. And let's just say this is outreach. So let's say that they're doing 100 outreaches every single day. If you do 100 outreaches over the course of a year consistently, you get to 10 grand a month. Obviously an arbitrary number. You should be able to realize mental models do not apply in the real world. It's not a specific number, but you're getting the point, right? If you want to get to 10 grand a month, you can do, and I actually did a video on this where I broke down like all the metrics and stuff, so you can go and check that out. But more importantly, what this means is that if you want to do it in 90 days, you need to basically 4x this, because 90 is a quarter of a year. So what you need to do over the 90 days is do 400 units of outreach, because if you quadruple the output, or if you quadruple the input, you will quadruple the output. Fundamentally, you are not constrained by time. You are constrained by action. And you might be thinking, well, how the hell am I going to do 400 outreaches a day? It's possible. Find a virtual assistant, dial until you basically can't talk anymore on the phone. It is possible if you really want to do it. If I said to you, right, in the next 90 days, if you don't get to 10 grand a month, your entire bloodline is going to get wiped out, and World War III is going to start, and you're going to be the dictator that basically starts the war, and everyone's going to hate you for it. You'd probably figure out how to make 10 grand a month. You would cold call for 16 hours a day until you basically couldn't talk. You do everything within your power, right? So don't tell me you can't do it, because you can. And so I'm not here to, this is the truth. I'm not here to give you some sort of shiny object and say, this is the magical thing to get to 10 grand a month, 9 days. No, you just have to work twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 10 times as hard as everybody else who's doing it in a longer period of time. When I started my first SMMA, it took me 6 months to go from 0 to 10 grand a month. What that meant is I basically had to just it takes most people like 18 months. I just had to do what most people do in 18 months in 3 to 6 months. Now, I'll give you another example of this, right? And this is me with YouTube videos, right? Right now, I make 3 YouTube videos per week. And it takes most content creators, they produce 1 video a week, or they procrastinate and then they have to script it. I don't do any of that crap. I just record the videos. In the last 2 days, I've recorded 6 YouTube videos. What that means is I've done in 2 days what most people do in 6 weeks. And this is the easiest and fastest way to get an advantage in business. Just do more than everybody else. Just perform more action. Now, my channel isn't exponentially growing. It's growing linearly because I am constrained to the SMMA market. But my ability to generate appointments and cash from this YouTube channel is unparalleled, because I've got such high volume, because I've got such a great system for recording content. I can get In the last like half an hour, I've basically made 3 videos in half an hour. It takes most YouTubers a day to make just one. And so this is where you get the advantage of imperfection from. And this is why I like to make videos that are just snappy, to the point. It's just literally me with a Miro board and my dodgy handwriting and basically just explaining how to do it. So back to the 90-day thing. So you've got this time horizon of 3 months. The truth is that like if you spend these 90 days building a website, right? If you spend these 90 days building a logo, if you spend these 90 days trying to think of like a slogan or a strapline for your agency, if you are trying to create your social medias, this is the other thing I see people do is like, I'm going to create my Instagram account and like, I'm going to create my Facebook account. If it feels fun, you're doing the wrong thing. Now, I got this from Joel Kaplan. There's a great sort of reel or short where he's like, what is SMMA? And then someone asked him the question, like, what actually is SMMA? And Joel basically explained it. It's like, well, you suffer really hard and it's really painful and you get rejected a lot for like 6 months to 12 months. And then you start making some money and then you actually have leverage and it's kind of fun. That's SMMA. If for the first 90 days of your agency, you're working on anything that makes you feel happy, you are working on the wrong thing. This is the dichotomy, is you need to transfer yourself from individual, like civilian, to business owner. So this is a civilian, this is a business owner. You need to go from this person to this person. What this person believes is that work needs to be rewarding. So you look at millennials and Gen Z these days, everyone wants to have a career where they're happy and they feel fulfilled and meaningful. And that is the entrepreneurial way. You can achieve the rewarding, fulfilling work, but you have to go through 1 to 5 years of pure suffering before that can happen. So most people, they step into business and they start to suffer and they think, oh, this isn't how work should be. Like, I should feel at home in my workplace and I should feel like I enjoy my work, because of this dumb civilian dichotomy that we created in society. It's just not a very good thing to have if you want to start a business. So just expect it's going to be suffering. Building a website does not mean you suffer. Building a logo does not mean you suffer. Building a slogan does not mean you suffer. Building a social does not mean you suffer. The external marketing assets of a business do not create a business. Just because you have a website does not mean you have an agency. You only have an agency once you've got probably about 10 clients. Before then, you're a glorified freelancer and you have to deal with it, right? Let go of your pride, let go of your narcissism. And just, if someone asks what you do, say, I just do freelance marketing. Don't tell me you're an agency owner because you built a logo and you have a slogan and a website. If you've got a website, a slogan and a logo and some social profiles, you don't have an agency. You have a website, a logo, a slogan and some social profiles. That is not an agency. Agency is cash, like a 6-figure, machine that pumps out cash. So that's basically how you do it in 90 days. Just basically, the core is the outreach thing. So figure out, like, you obviously can't figure this out because the data is not available. But if you think like it's probably reasonable for a year, let's say for a year, if you do 100 cold calls a day for a year, you might book, let's say you're pretty awful at cold calling, so you only book 1 appointment. That means you book 20 calls per month. Now let's then say that, 20 calls a month. Let's then say that only 10 of them show up because, well, the show rate's not that great. So you actually conduct 10 sales calls. And let's say you're not that great at sales, so you only convert 1 prospect. What that means is that, over the course of a month, what would this be? Let's say you're doing Monday to Friday. So let's say that you close 1 deal per month, which is then worth $1,000 a month, right? You do that for 12 months, you keep the clients, you're going to have 12 clients and make 12K a month. How do we bring this number up? Well, we do 400. We do 400. This number converts to 4 clients. That means you add an extra $4,000 a month to your income. If you elapse that for 90 days, you'll be making 12 grand a month by the end of 90 days. It's that simple. It's mathematics. It's not this crazy, weird woo-wah thing. Just because you think 10 grand a month is a lot of money does not mean it's objectively hard to make. It's hard in the fact that you're going to have to push yourself and do lots of work, but it's simple. If you need help getting more clients and you want to speed the process up, there is a link in the description where you can buy my thing. I don't care if you click it or not. Full transparency, it's a sales video. If you're not prepared to be pitched, please don't click it. But if you enjoyed the video, subscribe and all that stuff. See you later.